Rare Opportunity. Dmitri Gordeev, Rare Opportunity. Let's welcome him to the stage.
November 2016, small community Irma, southeast of Edmonton, was shaken with the news. A local resident, retired woman from a farm family, won Friday's Lotto Max prize of $50 million. $50 million, isn't that great? When we hear such news, we may have dual feeling, a bit of jealousy, of course, and then a strong temptation to start buying lottery tickets, thinking how such a win would change our life. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest, with this speech I'll be touching upon a theme many of us might have thought of at least once. What if we had enough money such that we no longer need to work for a living? Well, we know that if you work hard, there's a strong chance one day we'll not have to worry about the money to pay our bills, and maybe we'll have a bit more on top of it. Ability to travel around the world, visit exotic places, and maybe have a nice cottage on a privately. But to get there, it takes time. Who knows, maybe by the time we'll reach it, we no longer need it. Hence, better if we need it sooner, or much better if we have it now. We want it now, so what do? An option is to buy lottery, but they say the probability of winning big time is extremely limited. However, I do know some people who buy lottery tickets on a weekly basis. It's a possible venue, but again, the result is not guaranteed. What if I told you there is this rare opportunity, this new stock that gives 1,000% a year? Or in other words, whatever you invest, you get it twofold back in just a year time. You say this cannot be real, right? Because no such interest can be generated in a legitimate way. But then you learn a friend of a friend tried it, they made their money, and the money was real. And then another friend of a friend, and then a colleague at work, and then you say, well, maybe I'll try it. You put down $200, and surprisingly, in just a month, 2 months, you get it back, plus you get 100 on top of it. You do your math and you figure. If you pull a few $100,000, put it down just for 6 months. In 6 months, you can go on your early retirement. Is the risk worth the gain? Is the gain worth the risk? It well might be, as nothing ventured, nothing gained. Do you realize this is real? I'm talking about a real opportunity here. Would you be willing to go ahead and grab it? Or do you still think this cannot be true? Well, proponents of either side may have their point, and to give some explanation, I'll throw in some background. 1994, Russian entrepreneur Sergei Mavrodi launched a series of stock that was not listed on any stock exchange. However, it went up in geometric progression. The lucky ones who happened to be there at the beginning, they collected their return at 20% per month. With the word of mouth and heavy TV advertising, the stock got so much traction that the company's cash flow, the stock was called M, quickly went out of proportion, such that in some of the offices, management started counting cash in roomfuls. 1 room full, 2 roomfuls. That went on for a while, but then one day the bonanza ended. And the poor investors were informed they had become victim of a fraud, a pyramid scheme or Ponzi scheme, after the name of Charles Ponzi, who was notorious for creating such scheme, big scale in the United States back in 1920s. You know how pyramid works, right? Investors at the top collect the return from the money brought in by the new records at the base. They say idiots learn from their own mistakes, while smart people learn from mistakes of others. And knowing that, surprisingly, a lot of people went to ignore that rule. Upon collapse of M, a lot of people ended in a big trouble, and about 50 investors committed suicide because they could not repay the debt. And yet, upon serving 4 years in custody, Sergei Mavrodi, the same person, went on to launch a number of similar schemes, and in 2014, Triple M went global and managed to attract followers in some 107 countries. Isn't that something? Another example, maybe closer here geographically, Bernard Madoff, who sentenced to 150 years in prison for doing a similar thing, is not going to recover money to his investors. What is wrong with the people who become victims of such schemes? Well, nothing is wrong, as people are people, and they'd like to get more while doing less if at all possible. Moral canons say greed is a deadly sin, but when we look around, we feel it may not be the case, as a want to have more of material things is highly promoted, and the very notion of growing consumption is imperative for economic growth. With those various views, we still have our choices, but let's acknowledge the rare opportunities exist, have existed, will probably exist forever, or until humankind evolves some cool and emotionally super kind. And greed or desire to have more is still around, and it's not only random fraudsters, but entire industry segments playing it. How about stock market speculation? To put it in very simple words, maybe you could listen to what Finance 101 tells us. A greater return comes at a greater risk. Greater return, greater risk. As simple as that. If we get that, everything is very easy. We can gamble the farm and win a fortune, or lose the farm, but it's us who are ultimately responsible. Not Messrs. Madoff, Ponzi, or Mavrodi, or the neighbor who told us about that opportunity, or Dmitri, who might tell you about one day. Madam Toastmaster.